All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Saturday Yoga, mixed level. So let's find a comfortable seat. We're going to begin with some neck stretches just to get situated. So as you're sitting with the sitting bones grounded, lift up through the center of your spine. And then place your left hand on the right side of your skull. Extend your right arm out to the side so your wrist is slightly lower than the shoulder. And then without forcing the head, just gently drop your left ear down towards your left shoulder. Oh, I think I forgot to mute everyone. Let me take a moment to do that. Whoops. Just tune into how you're breathing right now. Before even trying to change the quality of breath. Feel into any way your body's speaking to you this morning through sensation, and then start to tilt your chin down towards your left collarbone. Be mindful of not rounding into the lower back, but slightly engage the abdomen to uplift the lower spine from the pelvis. Slowly start to roll your chin down to the center of your chest, bringing both hands behind your head. Maybe the thumbs meet the occipital bone at the base of the skull. See if you can consciously relax your scalp, the skin on your forehead, your jaw. And let's start to deepen the breath. As you take longer exhales through the mouth, creating a soft sound, begin to match that with the length of the inhales. Keeping your right hand on your left side of your skull, extend the left arm to the left so the wrist is slightly lower than the shoulder. Begin to drop your right ear down to your right shoulder. Very gently lengthening into the left side of your neck as you lengthen both parts of your breath. Take one more long exhalation through the mouth as if you're fogging a mirror, sounding the breath that way. And start to roll the chin down towards your right collarbone, giving the stretch into the left back side of your neck. And as you close the lips, begin to warm up your body using Ujjayi breath, which means victorious breathing. Softly narrowing the back of your throat and balancing the breath, sustained in and out through the nose. Begin to lift the crown of your head upright. Let your hands rest on your lap as you press the pelvis down again, lifting the spine tall. Start to circle the spine forward, over to one side. These are called Sufi rolls. Start with small circles as though your spine was a huge ladle stirring in the pot of your pelvic bowl. Then begin to enlarge the circles and switch directions. In the past week, each day, we've been reading different perspectives on what meditation is and practicing various approaches by different meditation teachers. Today, I'd like to read Dalai Lama's perspective as he was interviewed in the book, The Art of Happiness. He talks about the how and the why to meditating. Any other movements here as I start to read this, feel free, whether you want to do a gentle twist or roll out the shoulders. He says, generally speaking, our mind is predominantly directed towards external objects. Our attention follows after the sense experiences. It remains at a predominantly sensory and conceptual level. In other words, normally our awareness is directed towards physical sensory experiences and mental concepts. But in this exercise of meditation, what you should do is to withdraw your mind inward. Don't let it chase after or pay attention to sensory objects. At the same time, don't allow it to be so totally withdrawn that there is a kind of dullness or lack of mindfulness. You should maintain a very full state of alertness and mindfulness, and then try to see the natural state of your consciousness, a state in which your consciousness is not afflicted by thoughts of the past, the things that have happened, your memories and remembrances, nor is it afflicted by thoughts of the future, like your future plans, anticipations, fears, and hopes, but rather try to remain in a natural and neutral state. I'm going to read a little bit more before we end the practice with 3 minutes of sitting meditation, as we have been in the past few days. But let's get into that feeling of natural and neutral state of awareness by creating that balance in the breath and consciously connecting movement to breath. So let's come down to all fours, hands and knees. Setting your knees right under your hips. Plant your wrists a couple inches in front of your shoulders and see your fingers spread really wide and flat so the index fingers are parallel as they point forward, thumbs reaching towards each other. Then begin to move into cat-cow with the sound of your breath. Inhaling as you lengthen the lower spine, coil the chest up and roll the shoulders down. Exhaling, begin to tuck the tailbone under your body, engaging the abdomen and dropping the skull to round. Again, inhale, feel the length of your lower back, then arch right under your shoulder blades, lifting and broadening the chest. Exhale, firming the belly, hollow it, drop the head and tailbone, round. And then take a few more cycles of either cat-cow like this, Bhujangasana, or any other organic motion like sideways circles, passing through child's pose, or turning the head left and right, just any way that you need to warm up your body here. As you're present with each sensation, any shift, and even any need to pause and take rest, modify or add more intensity, really knowing it's all up to you. Allowing your body first and foremost to guide you throughout this physical practice as you respond to it with loving kindness. The breath allowing that present moment awareness. And then eventually make your way into downward facing dog when you're ready, separating the feet at least hips width parallel, grounding flat through finger spread, and lifting the pelvis as high as possible away from your hands, creating the feeling of a flat back as you drop the skull, let the neck hang loose. You might take a moment to shift around there, warming up the backs of your legs by pedaling your feet, stretching the sides of your hips and waist by swiveling the hips left and right. All still tuning into the sound rhythm of your breath that you are balancing. Letting the head go, you might shake and nod the head a few times. Feel the rebound of your own weight off the floor through the hands, lifting the shoulders up and back, spreading the shoulder blades across the upper back by rotating the triceps or outer upper arms towards the earth. Start to become still externally in the physical body as you feel the breath continue to flow evenly, drawing the navel in towards the spine and firming the fronts of your thigh bones back towards the rear of your mat. On your next inhalation, glide forward into the top of a push-up, plank pose. Shoulders stacking right over wrists, gazing on the floor just ahead of the hands, lengthening the neck, lifting the belly and the sideways. Knees can be on the ground to support you more, or legs straight, actively pressing the heels back. Feel the length of your spine as you exhale to glide forward, hug your elbows towards your side ribs, and slowly lower all the way down to the floor, setting up for baby cobra. Point your toes and press them all onto the mat. Keep your pelvis heavy on the floor and use the back muscles to float the heart off the ground. Take a few breaths, hug your elbows close to your side ribs, really firming down through legs straight. Lengthen the back of your neck, soften the face. Bhujangasana Cobra. On your next exhale, press down through your hands and tuck your toes, lifting up through plank or all fours. Then with bent knees, lift your hips as high as you can back to downward facing dog. Then look forward in front of your hands. At the end of your next exhale, walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat to stand in a forward fold. Have your feet hips width, parallel, and then bend your knees. Reach your hands behind you to clasp or hold a strap between. With knees bent, firm the belly in and shift your weight a little heavier on the balls of your feet, lifting the heart. Breathe in to a half forward fold. Keep this length in your spine, then exhale, fold in, drop the head, keep the hands together and lift them up and away from your lower back. Now, if you want a little more of a hamstring stretch, start to bend one knee generously, and as you straighten the opposite leg, lean your torso into it. Couple breaths. Keep lifting the arms away from the lower back so you're opening the fronts of the shoulders. And then if you're straightening one leg, switch sides. Maybe switch the cross of the thumb and index finger on top. And while the head goes towards the ground, lift the shoulders up towards the sky. Feel the space in your neck. Now with two bent knees, press your hands either onto the ground or your legs. Firm the belly in like plank and inhale, lengthen the spine parallel to the floor. Exhale, fold in. Little bend in the knees, firm down through the feet. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead to rise in mountain pose. Let the palms meet. Exhale, trace your thumbs together at your heart. Sun Salutation A. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead towards the sky above. Exhale, bow in towards the earth below. Inhale, lift the heart and lengthen your spine forward. Carefully plant your hands and step to plank. Exhaling as you glide forward. Feel your center alive and lifted as you lower. Cobra or upward facing dog. Firm down the feet and lift the heart. Exhale, engage the belly to help lift the hips up and back to downward facing dog. Let's take 3 to 5 slow breaths. Taking our time to ease into flowing body, mind, and breath. Then bending your knees, lift your heels and hips high. Look in front of your hands. Try to exhale first, then hold the breath while lifting your pelvic floor to walk or float to the top of your mat. Forward folds. Inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold. Press through the feet. Inhale, rise and look up. Palms meet in salutation. Exhale, bring that to your heart. Again, inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Adding just a little bit here. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Step to plank. Exhale, lower forward, then down. Feel the lift in the belly. Firm down through the feet and inhale, float the heart up. Draw the shoulder blades down. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bring your feet together in downward dog. As you inhale, raise the right leg up high. Exhale, bend the right knee and turn open at the hip. Taking a few breaths if you like to circle the right leg gently at the hip socket, lubricating your hip joint. Or to simply keep lifting the right knee and tacking the left hip back. Let your head fall. Calm, deep breaths. Then turning the right outer hip down, square your hips and straighten the leg. Breathe in. As you exhale, touch the right knee to the outside of the right upper arm, coming forward to plank. Stepping the right foot just outside of the right hand, set your left knee to the ground. Coming into lizard lunge, you're going to flow. Come onto your fingertips. And as you breathe in, allow your pelvis to gently sink closer to the floor. As you breathe out, actively scissor your right hip back towards straightening the right leg as you flex the toes up and hinge forward inside of your right leg to fold. Let's flow like that. Inhale, step the right foot down, rebend the right knee, sinking the hips. Exhale, scissor the right hip back, flex the right toes back, lengthen your spine as you fold. 3 more rounds of breath. Inhale, bend. Exhale, straighten and fold. Inhale, lunge. Maintaining that open space at your throat even as you exhale to fold. Last cycle of breath. Breathe in. Breathe out. Let's stay a few breaths here in this forward fold. Feel free to walk your hands closer to your torso if it feels like the shoulders are rising up towards the neck. Give yourself enough support to your hands as you flex the right foot, press the big toe mound forward. As you're drawing the right thigh bone back deeper into the hip socket, adjust your two hips as much as you can to evenly face the front of your mat. Feel a slight lift in the chest like a baby cobra pose as the belly firms in towards the back. Last deep breath here in this wide version of half split. Now start to walk your right foot to the front and center of your mat, preparing for warrior two. Spin the back heel down. Align the right heel to intersect the arch of your left foot. Pivot the left toes to slightly face the front of your mat. Then press to your feet and windmill your arms to rise up. Right away, set your gaze on one spot just in front of your right hand as you extend the arms open with the wrists stacking above the ankles. Feel the energy in your legs, though you're holding them still. It's as if you're dragging your feet towards each other to feel a slight lift at your pelvic floor. Lengthening up the center of your spine. Relax the tops of your shoulders down, freeing space in your neck. Let's take 3 more deep breaths here. Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Feeling the fluidity in your breath, even as the posture is held still. On your exhale, cartwheel your hands to the floor. Simply step back to downward facing dog. Bring your feet to touch. Inhale, raise the left leg. Exhale, bend the left knee, turn open at the hip, and perhaps you like to circle the left leg a few breaths, or simply lift the left knee a bit higher and tack the right hip back. Feel your arms evenly lengthen as you spread your weight through your fingertips. Let the skull go. Then turn the left outer hip down, square the hips. Inhale, straighten the left leg back. Exhale, come forward, touching left knee to left tricep, outer upper arm. Softly land the foot outside the left hand. Lower the right knee into lizard lunge. Now coming up onto your fingertips, imagine you could sink the pelvis slightly as you breathe in. Exhale, scissor the left hip back towards straightening the left leg as you flex the toes up and fold inside of it. Keep flowing. Inhale, bend the left knee just over the ankle, heart forward. Exhale, scissor the left hip back, folding it. 3 more cycles of breath. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, scissor and fold. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, scissor and fold. Last time, feel that you're maintaining the same space between chin and chest, whether you're lunging or you're folding, keeping an open passageway for your breath. Let's stay in the forward fold with left leg straight, flexing the toes. Press the mount of your left big toe forward. Engage the left quadricep, front muscle of the thigh. As you're drawing the left femur, thigh bone back, align your 2 hips to evenly face the front of your mat. Place your hands as close to your body as you need to offer the most support in order for you to slightly lift the chest like a baby cobra. Elongating the lower spine as you firm the belly against it. 2 more breaths here in this wide version of Ardha Chandrasana. Great, let's step the left foot front and center of your mat, preparing for warrior 2. Straighten the right leg and spin the heel down. Turn the right toes to slightly face the front of your mat, then align your left heel to intersect the arch of your right foot. Pressing down through both feet, windmill your arms to rise up, Virabhadrasana 2. Right away, steady your gaze. Help to steady your mental focus. Just gazing past the left hand, feel your wrists stack above your ankles. Feel the energy of your legs as if you're dragging your feet towards each other. A slight lift in the pelvic floor. Bring your attention and breath up the ladder of your spine. softening the tops of your shoulders down as you lift your heart, lift your crown. Last 3 breaths. In through the nose. Exhale, lower your fingertips at the top of your mat, but step forward to fold. Let your feet touch. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold. Circle the arms and inhale, rise up. Perhaps you add a gentle back bend, lifting the chest. Exhale to mountain pose. We're going to break down into a semi-flow of sun salutation B, and then we'll take a full continuous flow. So here we go. Start with your arms by your sides, feet touch. Take a deep breath and bend the knees to touch. Sitting in chair for a few breaths. Those of you that want to feel more rigor, try grazing the floor with your fingertips and keeping your hips that low. But only lift your arms to the height that you can allow the most space in your neck without shrugging your shoulders. Then peek at your toes. You want to be able to see them from where you are so that you're gliding your shin bones back enough. Then as you anchor the tailbone down, feel the belly engage. Soften the bottom of your front ribs in towards the back and lift your heart. Last in breath. Exhale to forward fold. Nice job, everyone. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Step to plank. Lowering through your vinyasa, or you could switch it up with cat-cow if you want something less intense. At any point, you don't need to keep flowing. Just step back to downward dog. Remember, you always have a choice. When you arrive at downward dog, keep your hips balanced and inhale, raise the right leg. This time, exhale, bend the knee towards your nose. Engage the belly to lightly step. Right foot inside of right hand. Separate your feet hips width apart, but drop the back heel down. By turning your left toe slightly to face forward, keep both hips facing forward, both feet flat on the floor. Then press to your feet, engage your belly and legs, and sweep the arms up to rise. Virabhadrasana 1. Just a few breaths here. Scissoring the right hip back, bend the right knee just over the heel. Pressing the left outer heel down, straighten the left leg and bring the left hip forward. Then as you drop the tailbone, engage the belly and lift your frontal hip bone slightly towards your heart. Relax the shoulders. And then with an exhale, take it all the way down from plank into your vinyasa. Inhale into cobra or upward dog. Exhale back to downward dog. Second side, inhale, lift the left leg, square the hips. Exhale, bend the knee towards the nose, step the foot inside of your left hand. Separate your feet hips width, drop the right heel, right toe slightly face forward so that your hips are already facing forward. Your feet are already pressing entirely into the ground before you rise up. Arms overhead in warrior 1. Now as you're bending the left knee right over the ankle, scissor the left hip back. As you're pressing your right heel against the floor, straighten the right leg and bring the right hip forward. Then feel your pelvis as you align it upright by lifting the frontal hip bones. You create a little more space throughout the spine. With an exhale, lower your hands, take your version of vinyasa. Breathe in to lift the chest. Breathe out to downward facing dog. So having finished both sides of warrior 1, let's spend a few breaths in downward dog to re-steady the sound of your breath. Preparing to land at the top of your mat, bend your knees, look forward, hold the breath out, and walk or float. Feet touch. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold. Knees touch. Inhale, sit low in chair pose. Then exhale to rise up. So now let's practice one breath, each posture, the best that you can. You can always slow it down if you need, but focus on slowing down your breath. So though the movements are continuous, they don't feel rushed. Start with arms by your sides and take a deep breath in. Close the lips and softly whisper it out. Here we go. Inhale, bend the knees in chair. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Step to plank or float to chaturanga, however you want to practice your vinyasa. Breath consistent as you can. From downward dog, inhale, raise the right leg. Exhale the foot inside, right hand, spin the back heel down. Face forward, inhale, rise to warrior one. Exhale, lower into your vinyasa. Breathe in. Breathe out. Downward dog, inhale, raise the left leg. Exhale the foot inside, left hand, right heel down. Face forward, inhale, rise, warrior one. Exhale, lower. We'll meet in downward dog. Downward facing. Give yourself 3 to 5 breaths here to slow down and smoothen out your breathing. Remembering that anytime you need to rest, there's child's pose or simply sitting down. If you're ready to wrap this up, bend your knees and look forward. At the end of your exhale, lightly land your feet together at the top. Inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold. Knees bent together. Inhale, chair. Exhale to rise up. So let's play with some balancing here. With your feet touching, bend your knees in a lighter version of chair, so not so low. Join your hands at your heart. Shift your weight onto your right foot to prepare for eagle pose. Turn out the left leg at the hip. Wrap the left leg over the right and flex the foot or tuck the toes behind the calf, but then bend the knees both a little deeper and square your hips. You might have to swivel the left hip further back. Now, if you want to add the arms, bend the elbows apart. Cross the right elbow over the left. Either hook your thumbs or wrap forearms and palms and press your shoulder blades down your back. Lift your elbows to the height of your shoulders and gently press the forearms away from the face while opening outer hips, upper back, tops of the shoulders, steadying your eyes, practicing balance of breath and mind. Eagle pose. It's also a compression pose which ignites circulation once we come out of it. Picture yourself in warrior three, where your left leg and spine are parallel to the floor with hips squared. Look at the floor ahead of you. You could keep your hands like this or bring your hands together at your heart. Flex the left foot, unwind the left leg straight behind, turning the toes down, the left hip down, and then extend the spine forward by looking ahead on the ground. As the right hip scissors back, the left outer hip drops downward. Lift the lower belly as though you were in plank. Let's take about 2 or 3 more breaths. Maybe you unwind the arms open like wings, or reach them forward and play with a little more fire here in Virabhadrasana 3. We're going to softly land in Warrior 2, aligning right heel to the arch of the left foot, cartwheeling the arms open. Nice landing. So from Warrior 2, straighten the legs for triangle. Draw your hips towards the rear of your mat and reach the right hand past your right knee, then set it down onto your thigh, shin, or just to the right side of your right leg. Now notice your breath. If all of a sudden it becomes difficult, what might you be able to adjust in your body to facilitate that calm, deep breath again? If you feel compression in the right side of your hips and lower back, try raising the right hand a little higher than you placed it. Give your right outer hip a chance to roll underneath and press the crease of your right hip back towards your outer left foot, lengthening the right side of your torso. If it feels okay on your neck, gaze up past your left thumb. Draw both shoulder blades down your back ribs as you lengthen the crown of your head towards the front edge of your mat. Let's take 3 more breaths in Trikonasana, triangle pose. Remember that energy of scissoring the legs as we did in Warrior 2? Find that here and feel the stability of your legs so much you could lift a finger or more of your right hand without locking the right knee. Ardha Chandrasana. As we transition, spot the ground in front of your right foot, and you might place your left hand on your left hip to help transition. Bend your right knee, walk your right fingertips forward into the right outer upper corner of your right foot, and drag the left foot forward, flexing it. Lift the left heel to the height of your hip and actively press that heel towards the back wall. Reach the top of your head towards the front wall and turn your chest towards the left wall. Maybe raising the left arm and restacking your wrists, your shoulders. Very similar to triangle, besides that lifted leg. Let's take a few more breaths. If there's another variation you want to add, like full moon, where you catch hold of the top of the left foot and play as though it's a bow and arrow, feel free to change it up. We're going to eventually sweep the left arm overhead to the ground. Keep lifting the left leg. Square the hips like you did in Warrior 3. Keep flexing the left foot, lifting the inner left thigh into standing splits. Don't worry about the name. Doesn't matter how high you lift the left leg. More important to keep your two hips level. If you want to play with your balance some more, you could walk your hands closer to your right foot. You could hold your right calf with one or both arms. Imagine that lifted leg is like a sail on a ship. Keep it firm, stern, focused to help you balance. Last deep breath. Nice deep, happy hamstring posture. Set your hands down. Set your left foot beside the right. Forward folds. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Bend the knees. Exhale, hands on your hips. Point the elbows up. Inhale, rise up. Mountain pose. All right, let's bring the feet to touch. Re-steady the breathing through the nose. Bend your knees in a lighter version of chair, so just a little bit higher. Join your hands at your hearts, preparing for eagle pose. Shift your weight onto your left foot. Turn out your right leg from the hip. Flex the right foot and wrap it over the left so that it's either just hanging out to the side but flexed, or tuck the toes behind your calf, where you'll probably need to scissor the right hip further back to realign the hips squared. Sink your hips a little lower so that it's easier to balance as you're breathing. If you want to add the arms, bend your elbows apart, then cross your left elbow over the right. Hook your thumbs or wrap your forearms and palms. Pressing your shoulder blades down your back, lift your elbows to the height of your shoulders, and gently press the forearms away from your face. Breathe in, breathe out. Feel your ability to calm your mind within whatever circumstance you play with the physical situation, the body. Dhanurasana. So in eagle pose, imagine with your eagle vision, before you start to move, Warrior 3, really strong. The right leg's going to be parallel to the floor behind you, spine parallel to the floor forward, two hips leveled. Then flex your right foot as you unwind it behind. Turn the right outer hip down, tack the left hip back, firm the belly. You could bend the left knee as much as you need to support the hamstring. Look beyond the floor ahead of you. And then any variations of your arms. You could reach them behind you, open up, or reach them forward if you want more rigor. Let's take about 3 more breaths. Engage your quadriceps, especially the left one. Belly in, just like plank. Relax the face, smile, you're flying. When you're ready, Warrior 2. Step the right foot all the way back, cartwheel the arms apart, and align left heel to arch of right foot. Then straighten your legs for triangle. Slide your hips towards the rear edge of your mat. Reach the left hand past your left knee and lower it onto your thigh, shin, or just to the left of your leg, right underneath your shoulders. Now feel your breathing, your body. Let them guide you through the depth that is necessary to feel balance of effort with ease. You might be looking up past your right thumb, softening the shoulders away from the neck as you continue to lengthen your spine parallel to the floor towards the front of your mat. Feel the external rotation of your left thigh bone at the hip as you wrap the sitting bone underneath your body and direct it back towards your outer right heel. Last 2 breaths. As you feel your alignment and the energies of both expanding and grounding in this pose, it's a blueprint to the next posture, so take those feelings with you. You might place right hand to right hip, spot the ground ahead of your left foot, and bend your left knee. Place your left fingertips, upper left corner of your left foot, and drag your right foot forward, flexing the foot as you lift the heel to the height of your hip. Half moon pose. Expand and ground. Maybe you're raising the right arm. Maybe you're looking up at that thumb. It does make it more challenging to balance if you'd like that. Or maybe you're playing with full moon, bending the right knee towards the belly to catch the top of the foot, like a bow and arrow, kicking the leg towards the back of the room while coiling the chest open. Feel your connection to your center right below your belly button, firm, steady. Start to sweep the right arm overhead to the ground. Keep lifting the right leg, flexing the foot. Turn the right outer hip forward and down. Square the hips and standing splits. Tack the left hip back. Breathe in to lift the heart. Keep lifting the right leg as you fold towards the left. A few breaths. And if you want to play a little more with the balance, you could walk the hands closer to your left foot. You could wrap one or both arms around the calf. All simply training your calm composure. When you're ready, step the right foot next to the left foot and fold forward. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, circle the arms to rise up. Exhale, the hands together at the heart. Let's turn to face the wide width of your mat and come into a wide-legged squat. Stepping the feet wide apart, wider than shoulders width. From your hips, rotate both thighs and pivot both feet to turn out so that as you're rocking side to side with knees bent, you begin to align the center of each knee with a center toe under them. That's important to keep the knees alignment safe. Then as you press your hands onto your inner thighs, imagine rolling them back so the sitting bones drop downward, the belly firms in and up. Then see if you can sit a little lower while keeping the knees splayed out the same amount as the toes. Lift the heart, breathe in. From your waistline, exhale, twist to your left and look over the right shoulder for a few breaths. Keep splaying the inner thighs apart, grounding through the feet. Lengthen your spine from the pelvis diagonally forward and twist a little deeper if you can as you breathe out. Relax the shoulders away from your neck, and let's take one more deep breath. From down through your feet, keep the knees bent if you can. If you need a break, you can straighten them. Come up to center. Roll the inner thighs back. Breathe in. Lengthen the spine up. Exhale, twist to the right. Look over your right shoulder. Make sure that no knee is buckling inward here. If you have to adjust and do less of a turnout, make sure you're pivoting the feet inward as well. One more breath. Press the shoulder blades down the back. Open the chest. Turn the rib cage. And exhale. Release the center. Let's step up to the front of the mat. Mountain pose. Breathe in. Sweep the arms overhead. Take your version of a back bend here. Anchor the tailbone down. Lift the heart. Little bend in the knees. Exhale. Bow forward. Inhale. Lift the heart. Firm the belly. Lengthen. Step to plank or float to chaturanga. Insert your vinyasa. Inhale. Exhale to downward dog. Start with your feet touching, hands, shoulders width apart. Inhale, lift the right leg behind you. Exhale, look forward and cross right knee to left tricep in a twist. Now staying here, begin to extend right leg to the left straight. Flex the foot and lean the outside edge of it on the floor. Your legs are like an L. You could lower your right hip all the way to the ground here and make it a seated version, or make it an arm balance version by not doing that and spinning the left heel to the ground, pushing off the right hand and lifting the left arm and fall in triangle. If you want a little more core rigor, plug the right thigh bone into the hip socket as you flex the foot, lift it to hover. So your weight is only on your left foot and right hand. Whatever version you're in, let's take 3 breaths. Draw the shoulder blades down the back, lengthen the sides of your neck. Firm the front ribs in. Sweep the top arm overhead if you're in the arm balance. Lower the 2 hands. Let's meet in 3-legged downward facing dog. Inhale here. Exhale, step right foot inside of right hand for warrior 1. Separating your feet hips width, spin the back heel down. Both hips squared, both feet entirely on the ground. Let's inhale to rise up. So take a moment to feel that you're equally weighted on both feet. Your legs are wide enough apart sideways to allow both hips to easily face forward, not the left. Then with that stability in your roots, bring your hands behind your back to clasp or hold a strap between. Bend your elbows closer together and breathe in to float your heart up. Now this could be plenty, opening the chest here. Otherwise, begin to bow inside of your right leg or on top of your right leg, keeping the hips squared, keeping the back heel rooted, and letting the head fall. Humble warrior. If you're bowing, as you let your head hang freely, lift your arms up and away from your lower back with a slight bend in your elbows to allow your shoulders to rise away from your neck. Feel the energy of your legs grounding, supporting your balance as you continue to scissor the right hip back and bring the left hip forward. Let's take 2 more breaths. Opening the outer right hip further, releasing the neck and shoulders, stimulating circulation. Nice, and then start to lower your 2 hands to frame your front ankle. Lift the back heel, re-square the hips and firm the left heel back. Lengthen the spine forward to prepare to twist. Now in this twist, you could keep the left hand down and raise the right arm up. You could lower the back knee and raise the right arm up. Or you could hook the left elbow outside the right thigh if you want more rigor. Either arms open there or hands in prayer. Let's take 5 breaths. Inhale, lengthen from your left heel or your tailbone to the top of your head. Exhale, hug your hips towards your midline so the pelvis doesn't rotate, but rotate your ribcage further. If your hands are in prayer, see if you can meet the center of your chest with your thumbs. Press the shoulders away from the neck. Feel that your head is not bowing towards the right edge of your mat, but instead your crown is lengthening down the center line of your mat. As you hollow the belly away from the right thigh, feel the space you create to deepen the twist. Last 2 breaths. Great for digestion, great for releasing tension along the spine, the back. Now look at the floor and lower your 2 hands. Optional to flow to a vinyasa, take a moment in child's pose, or directly meet us in downward dog. Lion's breath. Take a deep inhale, cross your eyes, open the mouth wide and stick out your tongue. And as you close the lips, smoothen the breath again through the nose. Inhale, raise the left leg. Square your hips. Exhale, square your shoulders and cross left knee to right tricep. Flexing the left foot, straighten the left leg to the right, leaning the outer edge of the foot on the floor. You have the option of lowering your pelvis all the way to the ground and sitting into the twist, or raise the right arm towards the arm balance. You also have the option of plugging the left thigh bone into the hip socket and lifting the leg, pushing the floor away with left hand and right foot flat. Breathe in, breathe out. Last 2 breaths. Feel the shoulder blades stable on your back ribs using your lats. Belly firming in. Attentive to your center. Sweep the right arm overhead. Set it down. Let's meet in 3-legged downward facing dog. Take a deep breath there. Exhale, lightly step left foot inside of left hand and separate your feet hips width, dropping the right heel for warrior 1. Press down through your feet and inhale to rise. So take a moment to make sure that each foot is in its separate lane. They're not intersecting. Both hips are facing forward. You feel balance through your legs. Then take your hands behind you and switch the cross of thumb and index on top, or hold a strap. Breathing in, coil your chest up. Stay here, or breathe out and begin to bow forward towards humble warrior. Either resting on top of your left thigh or leaning your head on the inside of the ankle. Keep scissoring the left hip back, pressing the right heel down to counterbalance your weight, and bringing the right hip towards the front of your mat. If you're bowing, let your head hang loose. Soften your jaw, your neck. Float the shoulders up away from the neck as you reach the arms forward, away from your lower back, with elbows slightly bent. Last 2 breaths. Pressing down through both feet, look on the ground and set your 2 hands to frame your left ankle. Lift your right heel coming into a lunge. Now let's prepare to twist. You could stay in this position with squared hips and raise the left arm up. You could set the right knee down for more support. Or if you want more rigor, take your right elbow and cross it to the outside of your left thigh. Either arms open or hands in prayer. 5 breaths. Breathe in, lengthen through the right heel firming back, through the crown of your head reaching forward. Breathe out, twist across your waistline while keeping your hips stable and still. If you're hooking right elbow outside left leg, rather than leaning all your weight against that leg, push off of it, root down to rise from it, and hollow your belly towards your spine. Not only using the torque, but the muscles along the sides of your waist, your obliques, to generate the twist. Last 2 breaths. Soften the eyes, soften the edges somewhere. Look down at your left foot, lower your hands, last vinyasa if you'd like to. Rest if you'd like to. We'll meet in downward facing dog. All right, let's take a minute in an inversion practice of your choice. Save shoulder stand or lying on your back with legs up for later. Let's think of a heating inversion. So it could be dolphin, it could be downward dog, say 5 breaths and then rest and come back into it. Dolphin is where you place your elbows on the floor, shoulders width, and you're balancing off your forearms and your feet, or 1 foot. So take your choice of inversion. If you practice headstand, it could be from a wide-legged forward fold, coming into tripod, or it could be from triangular base with interlaced fingers. Just remember that if you are in headstand, your weight is hardly on your head. It's like 20% is on your head. Put more weight on your arms to create space in the neck. You're lifting the shoulders away, up towards the ceiling. So we're just here for a minute. We'll meet in child's pose. Remember, when you've been upside down for a while, be mindful not to lift your head up too quickly. Just keep your head low. If you're in child's pose, you might give your shoulders a rest by wrapping your arms down by your thighs. maybe turning one ear towards the floor to gently stretch your neck. And then switching sides. From Child's Pose, let's extend the arms forward and slither all the way down into Sphinx Pose so that your forearms are in front of you as you lift the chest. The legs are straight back on the ground. Bring your knees close together as we stretch the quads a bit here. So cross your left forearm on the floor in front of your chest. Bend your right knee. We're also going to open the shoulder by backstroking the right arm and catching hold of the big toe side, the inner side of your right ankle or foot. Then make sure your knees are no wider than hips width apart as you ground both of your frontal hip bones. Use the support of your left forearm in front of your chest to turn your chest forward and slide both shoulders down your back. How's your breath? Bring your right heel just slightly to the outside of your right hip, lengthening that front long muscle, your quadricep, front of the right thigh. Actively lengthen your tailbone down towards your inner left heel to help create space in your lower back. Let's give this 2 more breaths on this side. Gently release your right leg. Come back to Sphinx with both forearms. Bring the knees close together to start. Then cross the right forearm in front of your chest. Bend your left knee and backstroke the left arm to open the shoulder, catching the big toe side, the inside of ankle or foot. Have your knees no wider apart than hips distance and ground both of your frontal hip bones, turning the chest forward, drawing both shoulders down your back. Breathe. Bring the left heel slightly to the outside of your left hip as you lengthen your tailbone down towards your inner right heel. Notice if there's any part of your body that might be tensing unnecessarily here. Tongue, neck and shoulders. One more deep breath. Lower the left leg and bring your right ear to the ground. Slide your right arm straight out to the right, palm face down. Use the left hand to press the floor beside your left ribs and roll over gently to your right side, further opening the front of your right shoulder. Slide the right shoulder blade down your back. If you want a little more intensity in that shoulder stretch, step your left foot behind you. Maybe wrap the left arm behind you, perhaps the palms meet. If you're already doing that, maybe you bend the right knee, press both feet into the mat. We've got a lot of choices. Let's take 2 or 3 more breaths. As you breathe out, slowly unwind onto your stomach. Then roll your left ear to the floor and slide your left arm straight out to the left. Use the right hand beside your rib cage to push the floor as you roll over to your left side. Relax the left shoulder away from your neck. Notice the difference, if any, on the side. A little more, a little less. What's it asking of you as you listen to your own body? Maybe you step the right foot back. You might try wrapping the right arm behind. You might step the left foot on the ground. Last 2 breaths. And then gently roll onto your belly. Back to your stomach. So let's rest the forehead on the ground for Dhanurasana or Shavasana. The lighter version, especially good if you do have lower back issues, is to just keep the legs straight in Shavasana and then lift the body as much as you can, like this. Otherwise, bend your knees and catch your outer feet. In either posture, remember to keep your knees no wider than hips width. Kick the legs towards straight if you're pulling your feet, and lift your knees off the ground. 5 or more deep breaths. Visualize breathing through your heart. Feel the lift begin from there. Releasing any unnecessary tension here. And when you decide to come down, let's meet in Child's Pose. Feet together, knees apart, or together. Dropping the pelvis all the way down to the feet, stretching the arms forward to help stretch the back. In Child's Pose, breathe in for your count of 5. Breathe out through your mouth for your count of 7. Inhale 5, exhale 7. Place the hands alongside your knees, tuck your chin to your chest, and inhale to roll up slowly. As you slide your legs in front of you, step the left foot either in front of your left hip to the outside of your right knee, or also bend the right knee. We're preparing for a spinal twist. Place the left hand behind your pelvis and raise your right arm up. As you ground the sitting bones, lengthen the spine upright. Exhale, twist to your left. Either hold your left shin with your right hand or hook your right elbow outside of your left thigh. Soften the shoulders down and feel that the crown of your head is aligned just above your tailbone. Natural space between chin and chest. Take one more breath here in the spinal twist. Then unwind and let's switch the left leg straight forward. Right foot either starts in front of the right hip or crosses to the outside of the left knee. Or you might also bend the left knee. Place the right hand on the ground behind your pelvis. Raise the left arm up, press down with the pelvis and breathe in to lift the spine. Exhale, twist to your right and either hold your right shin with your left hand or hook your left elbow outside your right thigh. Relax the shoulders down and lift your heart. Just a couple more breaths. And as you unwind, straighten both legs, separate the feet hips width in front of you. Flex the feet and ground your sitting bones from the belly towards the back. With the heart lifted and leading, begin to fold forward into Paschimottanasana. Either walking the hands down the backs of your legs, maybe clasping the big toes, relaxing the shoulders down as you slightly lift the heart. Let's take 3 more breaths. Now imagine breathing into the back areas of your body, from your legs to your spine to your skull. Then begin with the heart to rise as you breathe in, lifting your spine. Breathing out, lower the spine all the way down onto your back. Now you could lie in Supta if you'd like to rest in Shavasana in a hip opener. That's dropping the knees apart, bringing the soles of the feet together. If you need a moment to lift the legs up, because I did say to reserve that for the end, go ahead and take that. Otherwise, you could start Shavasana early. If you are lifting the legs up, make sure it's a restful inversion. Feels calming and cooling. If you've got pillows or anything around you, you can start to set up your body for a comfortable Shavasana. But one thing, we are going to practice meditating on an object. So if you have a candle that you can light in front of your mat, you might want to set that up now. Or if you have a flower, something simple that you can just steady your gaze on when we're meditating for the last 3 minutes. Just have that nearby and handy. And then let your body find a comfortable position to be still in for the next few minutes before we meditate. Close your eyes, soften the muscles. Perhaps take one last deep exhalation before you let go of controlling your breath. As your body remains still, your breath natural, and your eyes closed. These are a few more words about meditation by Dalai Lama in The Art of Happiness. It's a bit like a river that is flowing quite strongly, in which you cannot see the riverbed very clearly. If, however, there was some way you could stop the flow in both directions, from where the water is coming and to where the water is flowing, then you could keep the water still. That would allow you to see the base of the river quite clearly. Similarly, when you are able to stop your mind from chasing sensory objects and thinking about the past and future and so on, and when you can free your mind from being totally blanked out as well, then you will begin to see underneath this turbulence of the thought processes. There is an underlying stillness, an underlying clarity of the mind. You should try to observe or experience this. As you bring your attention to your body, start to move it gently to wake it up, like wiggling your fingers and your toes, turning your head. Ease into a simple stretch. And perhaps with eyes still closed, bend your knees and turn over to one side so that you can slowly lift your body up and find a comfortable position for a 3-minute meditation. So place the object, because this is a gazing meditation taught by the Dalai Lama. It's actually an ancient meditation technique. I have a candle lit here, so if you want to stare at that, preferably it's an object that's right in front of you that you could look slightly down. Find a comfortable, steady seated pose in a chair or on the floor. And let the object be eye level or slightly down in front of you. so you can maintain a balanced and steady seated pose. Settle into your seat and take several conscious, slow, deep breaths. Let the eyes soften and relax as you gaze upon the object. Notice any sensations you feel. Let your attention rest there for as long as it feels comfortable. When the eyes grow tired, gently close them. Bring the image of the object behind the eyes or to the point between the eyebrows. Visualize the image at that point. When the image fades, then allow the eyes to softly open again. Continue the practice of gazing at the object and then closing the eyes and holding the image behind the eyes or the point between the eyebrows. And if you don't want to open the eyes to the external object, feel free to rest inside of yourself with the image. Observe how you feel. I invite you to join your palms at your hearts, bowing in to close our practice together. Perhaps offering yourself gratitude for showing up. Our community here, gratitude for showing up. Now let's close chanting the sound that reminds us of how we are all interconnected. The chant of Ohm. Take a deep breath. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.